the last thing I want to talk about before we kind of get into our week 7 matchups, like who we think's the best games of week 7, is the Panthers and Bryce Young. I know it's not something, the prettiest of topics, especially if you're a Panthers fan. They are the only team that doesn't have a win this year. They also don't have a first round pick this season. What do we think's happening with them? What do we think they're doing, and what's happening with their franchise?
I think Bryce Young has proven to us that he wasn't as NFL game speed ready as what everybody thought he was. I think he looks sloppy behind the helm. I think he looks confused when it comes to play calls. I think his height behind those big-ass linemen is affecting him a little bit. I think him as a first-year starter was probably not the right choice for the Panthers. Not that any other starter would probably do any better, because I think we're seeing the effects of bad coaching from top to bottom. But I do think that Bryce Young has proven that he was a product of a fantastic Nick Saban organization.
What do you think their future is? Not just this year, but years, but a couple years in the future.
So a couple years in the future, I think they reform their coaching staff. I think Bryce Young gets traded to another team for a different pick.
Oh, so you're saying bust?
I think Bryce Young does better in a different organization. I don't think he's up to the game speed like what everybody thought he was. And I think him getting thrown into a very bad Carolina organization is just it's making him look worse than what it is as well. And maybe it is as bad as it looks. Maybe to me, it looks like he's a product of a Nick Saban team when he's coming into the NFL, and he's like a product of like a Vince Ultimate team.
Vince got his butt hurt so bad he left. No,
he doesn't have much of a supporting cast around him. The coaches aren't very decorated. They don't have a whole lot to their name. I don't know if y'all recall, but a couple weeks ago, Bryce Young was lining up behind the guard. Didn't know where the hell he was. Like, how do you make that mistake as a quarterback? Like, none of us in here has played quarterback a day in our life, but we would know where to line up.
Mm-hmm. You said they don't have any experience. Frank Reich most definitely has a lot of experience.
Well, no. I'm not saying he doesn't have experience. I'm saying they haven't been successful. They haven't proven to be successful coaches.
I think that Frank Reich has a great track record when he was in Philadelphia. As a head coach, I think I have to agree with you. But certainly as an OC and a quarterback coach, I think he's proven.
Well, he's calling plays. He's not calling plays anymore. He just announced this week that he's giving up play calling duties. But he's the one calling the plays, or he was at least these last 6 weeks.
Well, what he ought to do is he ought to start having someone else call plays and him be working with Bryce Young.
He just announced
every single freaking opportunity that he gets.
He announced that he's giving up play calling duties to their OC Thomas Brown, who has been mostly a running back coach his entire career, but he was an assistant head coach under Sean McVay the last 2 seasons.
Okay, so a successful offensive organization, a high-scoring, high-powered offense. I mean, and maybe that's what they need, but
I think it is.
What it looks like to me is it looks like Bryce Young was a product of Nick Saban. I mean, you throw us into Alabama, and I'm sure we'd be pretty successful there too because of the supporting cast.
I don't know. Vince can't throw a spiral from what he told me.
I do have to say, as a Texans fan, we were all upset at Lovie Smith for that game-winning field goal that put us in the second pick. I think we owe him an apology, and I think we need to thank him because CJ has proven to be a fantastic rookie, week in and week out. I don't want to sit on that topic too long because it seems like every week, we're talking about CJ. He finally threw his first.
Don't put the we in there.
I do, and y'all get stuck into talking about it. But he did throw his first pick, but it somehow resulted in a 3-yard gain. and then it resulted in a touchdown. He was able to kind of turn on the blinders and move on to the next play. I'm just, as a Texans fan, I'm glad that we did not pick up Bryce Young because I probably would have sold my season tickets.
And it's tough because I just feel like, and I've said this in the past, I feel like the Texans organization has built their culture so fast, and I agree with Big. I don't think Frank Reich has had a great head coaching track record. I just don't like him as the head coach. I think it was a bad signing when I saw it happen. He was the interim head coach for the Colts, or no, he got fired as the Colts. He got fired as the Colts coach last year, replaced by Jeff Saturday, who's never coached in the league, and the Panthers decided that was a good idea to pick him up. I don't know. I remember
you saying you like Frank Reich though. When that happened,
I did.
But...
No, not for the Panthers. When he got signed by the Colts, I like that. But after getting fired from the Colts, I don't know. I thought they should have signed somebody up and coming, young or something. I don't know.
I think what they should have done is they probably should have given Jeff Saturday a little bit more of an opportunity to develop as a coach. I don't think he did very bad as a head coach, but Frank Reich came in and just completely destroyed the Colts from the inside out.
Seemed like it.
I agree. I feel like, growing pains aside, I felt like Jeff Saturday brought a toughness to the team that was lacking. Toughness, demeanor. But get back on the Bryce Young topic. I can't remember a whole lot. I vaguely watched. Sorry. It felt like I had to sneeze. I apologize. I vaguely watched the highlights, and from what I saw that game, it didn't look like he played that bad to me. Like, his team put up 21 points, which is it's a decent amount against a top Dolphins team. It's just the Dolphins put up 42 because it's a Dolphins offense.
I'm not gonna lie. I haven't watched the Panthers. I haven't watched the Panthers. I see the Panthers on TV, and I'm turning it to a different channel. It's nothing on the Panthers, but it's 100% on the Panthers.
It's 100% on the Panthers.
I don't want to watch the first. So I watched them one time this year. The one time I watched them this year, they had receivers running into each other. So I decided to stay away. I'm excited to see what this new OC brings. Obviously, he's still coaching. He's still coaching the offense in practices and stuff. But I'm excited to see what he does play calling wise. I don't know who they play this week. Oh, that's a lie. I have it listed actually. I think they have a bye week. They are on a bye week. They played the Texans week 8. So that'll be a game we definitely talk about. Is the Panthers and the Texans, regardless of how it goes. So yeah,
they're gonna go out there and kick him in the ass. Is what's gonna happen.
So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what the new OC does. This will be the first time I watch Bryce Young since week 1. I feel like I'll get a good idea of what's happening. Stat-wise, he's not playing terrible. He has been sacked 16 times, which isn't great. So, I don't know. That could be him just taking too long to make a read, or maybe his reads just aren't getting open. I don't know. I'll find out week 8.
Or maybe the game is moving too quick for him to read appropriately.
As I said, that could be the case, but how many Panthers games are you watching?
Man, I'm turning on Sesame Street before I'm turning on a Panthers game.
you basically are with how tall Bryce Young is. About the same height.
I'm right there with you.
And I don't think the offense did bad. Like I said, 21 points is a good thing. I like Matt brought up. He lined up behind the goal. That was funny. Like, yeah, that's just brain dead as it gets. Like
that's like you in coverage, Vince.
Yeah, the dumbest thing.
Did you just say 21 points is okay?
They lost the game. Miami Dolphins, yes.
No, they lost the game.
They lost the game by almost 21. Didn't they lose the game by 21?
Yeah,
something like that.
Miami's defense is supported by their offense. If it wasn't for their offense, Miami wouldn't be Miami right now.
That's the truth.
What I was going that was about as dumb of a mistake. But I'm trying to compare it to something. Only thing I can compare it to is when I first started playing football when I was like 11, maybe 10, and a running back drill. Very first time I ran with the ball, I've seen Michael Vick hold it this way on Madden, so I carried it like a loaf of bread and got yelled at for that. But yeah, it's about the dumbest mistake I can compare it to.
Let's take a better one for you. You remember when the Colts lined up and they lined up a quarterback behind the center? And it's like 4th and 10.
3 defensive players. Yeah,
that's what it was.
The worst stupidest play that you can compare it to is the Cowboys when they were playing the 49ers at the end of the game last year where they had Zeke Elliott line up at center. There you go.
Oh, man. That was funny.
Okay.
They put Zeke on what? Eric Armstead?
Absolutely. I call that the worst play in NFL history, even though the Patriots tried to top it last year. But
just quickly, I just want to say I think the Panthers team isn't as good. I didn't expect them to be good this year, even with them having Bryce Young. I just didn't expect them to be 0-6. You know, I feel like they're not playing the top end competition. I feel like they, 1 or 2 wins through 6, but it just hasn't happened for them.
But you know what? I think there's a little bit to the point you made about the Texans with DeMeco Ryans. Everybody's bought in. I don't think anybody's bought into Frank Reich.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody looks at him as a true leader.